Well, actually, one of my friends tried to set us up.
Sarah gave me her phone number and wanted to set me up on a blind date when Cathy was visiting from out of town.
And he sent me a text and said, "Hey, I heard I have to meet you. One of my friends said we need to meet." And I thought that was pretty bold, so I thought it was kind of cool. So I wrote him back. I'm like, "Well, I have a pregnant friend here, and we have to roll her down the hill because she's pretty big." And he's like,
"Oh shoot, I guess you're gonna miss out on Disneyland." Trying to make her feel bad.
Then when I first met Kris, it was at
Break the Fast, and I was making my rounds, hitting up the different tables, looking for the new ladies in the ward, and I noticed Sarah had a new friend in church, and her new friend was looking pretty good. So
he came marching up and started talking to me, and asked me out within 5 minutes, and I thought that was so cool.
I was like, "Well, are you ready for your Disneyland date yet?" And that was it. I asked her out within 5 minutes of meeting her, and I think she liked that.
So he picks me up, and he takes me to Disneyland, and so I was really excited to go to Disneyland, but on the way there, I started talking about my history with boys and who I dated and stuff.
She gets in the car and she just starts blah blah blah, telling me all of her passions, all of her problems with guys in the past, and how she's broken so many hearts and stuff. And I was like, I was ready to turn around and take her home within about 10 minutes of the date. And I told her, I was like, I don't know what, I was like, "Don't tell me you're one of those girls."
And he in his head, he told me later, he was like, "Oh no, she's one of these kind of girls, who dates everybody," and so then we didn't argue, but we it got tense in the car all of a sudden, and this was within 5 minutes of our date. And we literally said out loud, "Maybe we should just turn around."
And I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a long, hard day. Why did I take her to Disneyland?"
And then I thought, "Oh great, now we're going to Disneyland, and we have to stand in line for 40 minutes and talk to each other, what are we going to talk about?"
But then we got to Disneyland, and I'm running around, skipping,
and we just skipped around, and we're running around laughing our heads off. We snuck into a ride that was closed, a tree house, and we were running all around, and the security guard caught us, and so we had to jump over the fence.
And I just had so much fun going up there. And on the way back down, I noticed a security guard saw us jumping back over the chain, because they had put a trash can in front of the way, so we had to come down and jump over the trash can and the chain. And a security guard saw us and started walking towards us, and I was like, "Cathy, run!" And we take off, and we go into one of the stores and start trying on hats and clothes. And
so we took off running, and then we hid in a shop that had hats. So we have all these pictures of us trying on hats.
At that point, I was like, this girl is just too cool to be true.
And it was seriously the best date I'd been on in years.
It was at that point that I was just thinking, if this girl's for real, because she's smooth, and I know she's all talk sometimes. But if this girl's for real, I think I want to keep her around.
Dating was so easy with him. We never fought, we just always had fun. I guess, I remember specifically one time thinking about him and thinking, I can't believe that one person is made up of all these things that I love so much. And I thought, could this be real? Is this real? Is he really all these things that I think he is? And I just really couldn't believe it.
I remember a date in Laguna, our first date to Laguna. I lost sleep over what I was going to do with her, because I really wanted to impress her. This is the date that I knew she was dating a couple other guys at the time, and I wasn't in the #1 seat yet.
The biggest turning point was going to the San Diego temple together. It was kind of early in our relationship. We'd been dating for about 3 months, and we decided just to go to the temple.
And I remember thinking what I would give to travel around Europe with Cathy, and how that would just be like the coolest thing ever. When I first thought, I'm going to marry this girl, was when we were on a kayaking trip. And it was just doubles, and I was in the kayak with my friend Jared, and we were just paddling along, and I was just thinking about how much fun I was having with her, and just all the amazing things that I learned about Cathy. And I remember telling Jared, I need to marry this girl.
So he thought, I better ask her so she can get like planning with her mom. Always thinking ahead.
Definitely last minute. I decided about 2 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon. And I did this because I've never met someone as hard to surprise as Cathy. And she had planned out a surprise date for me on Thursday. So I decided that when we got home from our surprise date, I was going to surprise her a little bigger. And some of my buddies, Nick and Jared and Kat, I made a list of things I wanted, gave it to them, and
we went to see Pageant of the Masters, and instead of going in, we snuck up on a hill and watched it with binoculars.
Which is totally my style.
And it was just drank Martinelli's, and it was really fun. And then on the way back, I was actually tired, and I'm like, okay.
She took me home a little early. I told her I was kind of tired, and then I was like,
there's supposed to be a meteor shower tonight. Let's go watch it. You want to go watch it? Let's go on the roof.
And we had built a crude ladder out of 2x4s in the past that goes up to our roof on the 3rd story of the house. And as she climbed up those ladders,
I start climbing up, and he's having me go first. I could hear music in the background, like this really pretty music that is one of kind of our songs, and I was like, oh, and I said out loud, this one should be our song, because I thought the music was coming from his bedroom, not the roof.
And she got over the lip of the roof. She just saw like hundreds of candles all laid out everywhere.
Rose petals all over, there's like tables with our pictures, there's
a dozen roses, and music. It's beautiful music.
Roses, Martinelli's, everything, and then
we get up there, and she's just so stunned. She's just like, oh, how did you do this? She didn't know what was going on. And I just was like, shh, baby, don't worry, pretty little head.
He asked me to marry him, and I said yes.
And it was beautiful. And we danced. And then we noticed that Nick had videotaped the whole thing.
It was great. There was no meteor shower.
We just spent the next hour just dancing to our favorite songs, and her asking me like, is this for real? Are you sure?
I'm going to say in 5 years, Kris and I will have 1, maybe 2 babies.
We will have 2 kids and 1 on the way.
We will have left California and we'll be living overseas somewhere for a year.
We'll probably be living in a pretty sweet treehouse up in Vancouver somewhere.
Well, the kids are still little and we can go do something fun before life gets too hectic, I think.
Cathy will race mountain bikes for side money on the weekends, and continue to do her HP job probably during the week. And I'll be building tree houses for a living.
My car will probably be dead. We'll probably have like the refurbished yellow banana boat still.
We'll be taking part-time classes at the local college there in horticulture, in culinary arts, architecture.
Maybe we will have a Lexus.
We're not going to have a car. I haven't told her this yet, but they're just not fuel efficient.
I've never had so much fun with someone before in my life, and every time I think about Kris, I just shake my head and start laughing because he's so unique.
I can't tell you how many times someone has come up to Cathy or myself at church or, just random, and just said, I love you two together.
For months, we'd been dating for probably 6 months, and even every time he would get near me, I would get tingles. I thought it was the coolest thing. Just being next to him, I could get tingles all over.
I just love being with her. Every day I come home and I want to hang out with her. And I want to, you know, even if I have to work late, I want just her to be there next to me, reading or something. I just love her company. I love being with her, and I love who she is and what she stands for. And I am so certain that we're just going to have a great life together. We're going to be the cutest old couple you ever saw.
Okay, so, you know, after you've been dating so many years, you start to get to understand when a guy is going to try to kiss you.
Yeah, I think it was like the third date. We had just gone into the ocean and we were hanging out in a hot tub,
and all of a sudden he started acting different, and I was like, and because it was so early in the relationship, I really did not think he was going to try to kiss me, but he started acting weird, and I was like, oh, he's going to try to kiss me.
she just wanted it bad.
He's going to try to kiss me. All of a sudden I was like, oh man. And I'm thinking, and you know, after so many years of dating, you learn like amazing, excellent dodging techniques.
She really wanted it bad.
But like, because we'd only been dating a few times, I'm like, so then I was like, okay, so I kept trying to kind of like get out of the situation.
I knew she wouldn't let me take her home before I kissed her.
But no. One thing about Kris is when he wants something, he wants something. And then you just can't. You can't. He was going to kiss me if it killed him.